A very good evening and a warm welcome to Weekend Dialogue. Tonight in our studios, we have with us renowned digital marketing expert Dr. Dave Chaffey joining us here in our studios. He's here on a week-long visit in the island in line with a conference where he has delivered a presentation and of course his expertise and skills in the subject. A very warm welcome to you to the Art Studios.
Thank you.
Dave Chaffey, Dr. Dave Chaffey, I think as the entire landscape of the country and world at large is changing, digital tools have become, marketing tools have become more and more important in reaching out to customers effectively. And I think this is where your expertise, your skills come in. How did the conference go here in Sri Lanka?
Yes, I enjoyed the conference. It was good to see lots of digital marketing pioneers. We had I think over 300 people, and it was good to see everyone was hungry for knowledge.
If you give us a brief background about your work around the world.
Certainly. Well, you were mentioning there how digital media are becoming more important, but we need to remember they're not new anymore really. The web was actually developed for the first time 25 years ago this year by an Englishman, Tim Berners-Lee. So you would think after 25 years that many businesses would already be on board and would have a plan and a strategy for digital media. But that's really where I help businesses, help them with a more planned approach. Because what we find is many companies, they'll have a website, they'll have a Facebook page, but they're quite ad hoc in the way they use it. They're not following a structure. And I tend to see that wherever I work. You might think that, say, in the UK or the US, everyone is very advanced, but that's not the case. I think everyone is on this journey to learning more about digital media.
Does this mean yet people are at their early stage in digital marketing and the usage of these tools are not effectively done?
Yes, I think that's a good assessment of it. What we actually have developed at Smart Insights, my company, it's like a 5-stage capability model where stage 5 is like nirvana and stage 0, 1 you're just starting out. And I asked at the conference where people were, and they say around stage 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, if I ask the same question in the UK, most companies are in the middle as well. So I think the main issue that companies have is that they're not using, we talk about all this insight, so we're collecting data of how people use their mobile phones or when they're on the website or emails to interact with us, but there's just so much data that people don't know where to start and how to use it, so they don't make the time to use it.
If you also talk about the region, a little about the region and Sri Lanka, how do you see Sri Lanka being ready to actually use these tools in communicating to consumers?
Yes, well, there's a lot of opportunity. I'm somewhat familiar with the region because I was doing a project with Nokia where we were launching I think over 60 websites worldwide, and I didn't actually work with Sri Lanka, but I worked with other companies in other countries in the region, Philippines, Singapore, Vietnam, and so on. And I was actually surprised that in use of mobile marketing in particular, which is really important in Sri Lanka, really quite sophisticated. And I've seen from some of the examples we've seen here, there's a lot of interesting ideas of viral marketing and using Facebook to interact with the younger generation.
What do you also see as the challenges from your observation of Sri Lanka?
I'd say you probably have similar challenges to elsewhere. It's really knowing where to focus, because there's so much you could do. If you think back a few years, it was really print, TV, radio. Now we've got mobile and web, of course, but there are so many platforms within that. You've got Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Instagram, all these tools. It's very difficult to keep up with. I have a couple of, I have 2 daughters, and they're way ahead of me. So, and I think that's these digital natives, as we call them, it makes it hard for companies to see what's working, because my daughters, you might think they use Facebook, for example, but actually Facebook's no longer cool in the UK, so they're using Snapchat or Instagram and these other tools as well. So that's the trouble really. It changes so frequently, and marketers tend to chase these. They think, oh, that this is the answer to all my problems, but they don't get the basics right. That's the challenge.
But as you say, with these changes and with these digital advances, how do you think one must keep abreast with these changes that evolve day by day?
Yes, well, I think it's easy enough to do that. You can get feeds, and it's just subscribing to the right sites, really. So in the US, I actually subscribe to Marketing Land. So that gives me a daily newsletter of all the main developments, and Smart Insights, we actually publish a weekly newsletter so as not to show too much information. But as I say, it's getting the basics right of getting your website visible through search engine marketing, making a good customer experience on the site, because many people who visit a site, if it's not clear, well designed, they'll just bounce off. If you look at how long people stay on a site, the majority, it's quite shocking, would be less than 10 seconds. So, you know, never mind Instagram or Twitter, we've got all these people arriving on a site and then leaving instantly because it's not working. So you can see, I think, that companies have got the priorities a bit wrong. Their prime real estate, if you like, is the website, not social media, which other companies will control, and you can't necessarily link through to your products, selling your products and services.
With that, what do you think are really the expectations of the consumer with these digital media, digital tools being implemented? How do you think that needs to be tackled by companies?
Yes, that's interesting, because I think the consumers have got a high expectation, because they'll be using, say, Facebook, I know is very popular in Sri Lanka. So that will be most people's experience of web, and they'll be comparing company sites in Sri Lanka with Facebook, and that's got a nice clean design, it's very clear, it's very quick. Whereas often what companies will try and do, the websites are designed by committee, so everyone sits around a table and someone says, I want this, someone else says, oh, I want something else. So they pack in too much content. So really what I'd advise is to really simplify the web experience, and actually to test. So you can try different versions of the page and see which works best.
What would be the priority areas that these marketers who embrace digital tools need to focus on when doing all these things that you speak of?
Yes, well, we talk a lot in digital marketing about customer journeys, and you've got the journey on the website where if someone's perhaps they're interested in a new credit card. So if they arrive on the homepage of a bank and it's not clear where the credit card offer is, they're going to get annoyed and frustrated. So I think understanding those customer journeys on the site is important. And then also how it links through to other channels, because I think from talking to some banks in Sri Lanka, you often don't have the connection through to, you can't buy online, you can't sign up for the card online, so it's important to connect people to the phone, or maybe have an online chat so that you can develop the relationship. So I think the web is important, the website's important, but then you've got the mobile web. So I think that's one of the main ways in Sri Lanka people access, say, a banking site. So it's important to have a site that works well on mobile as well.
Right. So with this conference here in Sri Lanka, I'm sure you were able to interact with many in Sri Lanka. Where would be your next conference?
To be honest, I don't actually travel as much as you might expect, because as I mentioned, I have family, and I'm a publisher of Smart Insights, and our service, we actually we have 250,000 visits a month and customers in 50 countries. So my priority is using the web as a platform rather than travelling. But I'm very happy to be in Sri Lanka, but I actually don't travel so much. I was at a conference in Norway in Europe earlier in the year, but actually there's so much to do in the UK, so I'm speaking at an e-commerce conference next month in the UK, and that's my next next trip. Yeah.
And we wish you all the best for all your future endeavours.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dave Chaffey, for joining us on Week in Dialogue. Renowned digital marketing expert visiting in Sri Lanka, and we were able to have him in our studios. Thank you once again for being a part of this show.
That's a pleasure. Thank you for some great questions.
And we'll be back with more on Biz Roundup right after this break. Do stay with us.